Hello everyone. In the last class, we have solved some problem involving the quadrant rule, and you are already aware that we have solved. We have already learned the quadrant rule. By the way, just a quick revision. The quadrant rule is this, where we remember it by saying add sugar to coffee. In the first quadrant, all positive. In the second quadrant, sine and its reciprocal cosec positive, tan positive, cot positive, and C, by the way, and cos positive and sec positive, isn't it? So we remember it by saying add sugar to coffee, isn't it? So this was the quadrant rule. This will tell me about the signs of the trigonometric function. The quadrant rule tells us about in which quadrant the particular trigonometric function is positive or negative. Okay. Also, we have learned the trigonometric ratio of negative angles. By the way, just to show you, we have learned what is sine of minus theta. That will be minus sine theta. We have also learned what is cos of minus theta. It will be simply cos theta. Similarly, tan, cot, cosec, the minus pops out, and sec absorbs the sine, isn't it? So cos and sec absorbs the sine, rest all throws out the sine, you can say it like that, isn't it? So today we are going to take the knowledge of quadrant rule further, and we'll try to solve some allied angles and associate angles. Okay, we'll try to find the values of some allied angles and associate angles. Okay, so first let me explain what are allied angles. Allied angles are, you may write like this: if the, you may copy this, sum or difference of two angles is 0 degree or a multiple of 90, or a multiple of 90 degree, then the angles are called, you may write it, allied angles. Allied angles. Okay, so let me give you an example. So allied angles, what type of angles are called allied angles? In general, if I write theta and 90 minus theta are allied angles, I can say that. How do you know that? Because it says if you add the angles and subtract the angles, and if the answer becomes 0 or multiple of 90, then we said the angles are allied angles. Okay, maybe if you add this, what will happen? Theta plus 90 minus theta will give you 90 degrees, isn't it? It's a multiple of 90, so it's an allied angle. So in particular, an allied angle would be something like this: 30 degree and 150 degree. I can say they are allied angles, because if you add them, it will give you 180 degree, which is a multiple of 90 degrees. So these are allied angles. So we'll learn 30 degree, we already know. Maybe if I ask you what is sine 30 degree, you would be easily able to tell me the value. That's half. But if I ask you what is sine 150, you would be a little confused, because we haven't done the value of sine 150 degree. It isn't standard, it isn't in the table, isn't it? If you check out the table. So today we will learn to find the value of such allied angles. We'll also learn how to find the value of 150 degree. Okay, also we'll learn about associate angles, and associate angles are very simple. If sine 30 degree is half, and let's say another angle of sine, that's theta, is also half, then we say 30 and theta are associate angles. So associate angle definition is very, very simple. Let me write it down here. If I'll just write it down. If two angles have same trigonometric value, then we say the angles are associated. Okay, associated, very simple. Check this word, associated. Associated means related, having the same value. So very simple definition, you can just copy this. Okay, so this is all about the definitions. Now we will solve a sum based on this. Okay, so we'll also learn to find the values of higher angles, correct? Okay, now before I start calculating the value, you need to remember the rule. There is a rule to find the values of higher angles. Okay, you just know the values of standard angles: 0 degree, 30 degree, 45, 60 and 90 degree, and somehow you would know 180, 270 and 360. We have included those in the standard table. Okay, now I may ask you to find a value of some other allied angles or associate angles or higher trigonometric values. So we'll learn about those in this particular topic. Okay, the rule, as I was talking about the rule. Now the rule, I have it here. I suppose you have already copied this and attached this as a PDF file below. So look carefully. It says working rules for associate angles that is higher than 90 degree. Okay, so those angles which is higher than 90 degree, any angle 150, 300, 350, you can calculate by using this particular rule. So step 1 says apply negative ratio formula if necessary. So if the angle is negative, let me show you. Suppose at the side here, suppose let's say you have let's say you have a sine minus 150. If you have to calculate the value, then you have to apply the negative rule first. What is sine of minus theta? Minus will pop out and it will become sine minus 150 degree. So first just remove the minus sign or just pop out the minus sign. Had it been cos 150, then cos 1 minus 150 would have been written as simply cos 150 degree, because negative cos of minus theta is cos theta, something like this. Okay, then you have to express the given angle in this particular form. Are you seeing it here? You have to express it into n into 90 plus minus theta. N into 90 plus minus theta. An example of this would be, suppose if your angle is 150 degree, then express 150 in multiples of 90. How would you do that? So 150 can be written as 1 into 90 plus something. That would be how much, everyone? 1 into 90 plus of how much? Maybe 60 degree, isn't it? Because 1 into 90 plus 60 is 150 degree. Did you understand? Or else the same thing. Why not? Why this? You can also express it as 2 into 90 minus 30 degree. That's also correct, because 290 is 180 minus 30 would give you 150. So anyway, you just have to express any given angle in multiples of 90 plus something extra. Okay, what about 200 and maybe suppose you have 250 degree. If you ever have 250 degree, how would you express this as? 250 degree would be expressed as, what is the nearest multiple of 90 for 250? It is 180, isn't it? So 180. So that means 2 into 90, that's 180 plus something extra. 180 plus how much? 70 degree, isn't it? Did you understand? 180 plus 70 would give you 250, something like this. What about 300? And let's do that. What about 300? If you were given 300 degree, how would you express it as? 300, closest multiple of 90 to 300 is 270. That means 3 times. So 3 into 90 plus 30, that would be option 1. Or the second option would be 4 into 90, that is 360 minus 60 degree. That's also correct, because both is if you both simplify both of these, you will get 300 degree. So do you understand? You have to express it as n into 90 plus minus theta. It can be plus theta as well as minus theta, where n has to be a positive integer. Very simple. Okay, multiple. So that is as it is written here, that is multiple of 90 plus an acute angle. Got it? Then step 3 says determine the quadrant in which the angle falls and hence decide the sine using the quadrant rule. Okay, so we'll talk about this. And this is very, very important. Step 3, I'll explain when I do the sum. Step 4, if n is even, then the ratio remains the same. But if n is odd, then the following changes will happen. Check this out. Here the value of n that they are talking about, the multiple, it is odd. And here the value is even. So if it is odd and if it is even, there are different rules for it. Okay. If it is even, suppose if it was sine 300 degree and it was here sine 300 degree and here also sine 300. So if it's even, then sine will remain sine. Correct, everyone? But if it's odd, sine will change to cos. Check this out. Sine will change to cos, tan will change to cot, cosec will change to sec. Who will change this? The odd multiple will only change, not the even one. Okay. And after that, you just have to write the acute angle. Okay. So let's go and let's solve a sum actually we're using this formula and see how does it work. Okay, an example that I have done here is sine 300 degree. I'll just show you the same thing on the fair side here. Okay, so I have sine 300 degrees, correct? Let's see the rule. Rule 1 says, step 1 says apply negative ratio formula. Apply negative ratio formula if necessary. So here I don't think it's necessary, so I don't have to apply. Skip that rule. Second says express this as a multiple of 90. See, n into 90 plus minus theta. So 300 degrees can be expressed like this. Maybe I can do 2 columns here. One, I can write it as sine. I can write it as sine of 3 into 90. That's 270 plus how much should I add? 30 degree. That's one way to write. The other way I can write it as sine 4 into 90 minus of 60 degree, isn't it? Because 4 into 90 is 360. Is that correct, everyone? Let me show you with red color here. This is 270 plus 30. This is 360 minus 60. Correct. This will also give you 300. This will also give you 300 degrees. So both are the same way, but different type of representation. Okay. So I have done that. Next, it says step 3 now. Determine the quadrant rule in which the angle falls and hence decide the sine using the quadrant rule. So this is the most important step actually. This is what I have to explain it here. I told you that I will explain this along with the sum. Now if you remember the quadrant rule, let me change the color. The small, okay, why so small? I'll make a big enough quadrant here. So add sugar to coffee. Remember this, okay? This is the quadrant rule, the sine of the trigonometric function. So what I have to decide now is I have to decide the sine of this particular SIGN, I mean to say, sine of the particular trigonometric function, okay? So where does 300 degree lie in the quadrant? Okay, 3 into 90 plus 30. Let's check. So first I'll have to check in which quadrant does this angle lie. For that, 3 into 90 means 190, 290, 390. That's here. 3 into 90, that's 270. Plus 30 means something that is there in the fourth quadrant, isn't it? So I know that this angle 300 degree lies in the fourth quadrant. How did I decide? Because it can be expressed as 3 into 90 plus 30, and that means 190, 290, 3 times 90 will reach here, and plus 30 means something in the fourth quadrant. Is that understandable, everyone? So in the fourth quadrant, sine, the value, the ratio is sine. What is sine in the fourth quadrant? Is it positive or negative? In the fourth quadrant, only cos is positive, so sine definitely has to be negative. So I'll write here minus. The sine rule for this particular function is minus. Got it? Then next step says okay, if n is even, the ratio remains the same, but if it is odd, then change sine to cos, cos to sine, etc. Okay, so what is the multiple here? It is the odd multiple. If it happens to be odd, the sine changes to cos. So let's do that. So now this sine changes to cos. I have done that. And lastly, what I have to do, write the acute angle, only theta, which is the acute angle. This is the acute angle I'm talking about. So I'll simply write here 30 degree. So what is the answer? Minus root 3 by 2. So the value of sine 300 degree is minus root 3 by 2. That's one way. I can do the same thing but in a different way, that is by using the even multiple. Okay, so same thing I will do the other side here. Check this out. Even 300 degree could be expressed as sine 4 into 90 plus 60 degrees. So how can I now use the quadrant rule and decide the sine? 4 into 90 minus 60. Okay, let me show you in different color. 190, 290, 390, 490 will reach here. Minus 60 means back again in the fourth quadrant. So in the fourth quadrant, sign is negative. So again the sign becomes negative. Next, what type of multiple is this? Even or odd? It's even multiple. So sign will remain sign, isn't it? Check this out, because the rule says if n is even here. If n is even, the ratio remains the same. If it is odd, it changes. Why did it change here? Because it was odd here. So that's why it changed to cos. Why did it not change here? Because sine will remain sine. It is even multiple. Got it? Then the acute angle will follow, and 60 degree, and everyone knows sine 60 is root 3 by 2, and that's the value of the particular function. So whether you do it using the odd multiple or the even multiple, the answer is going to come the same. Did you understand this? Yes? So I'll solve a few more sums using this quadrant rule to help you understand better. Okay, the second one, what about sine 120 degree? How to find the value of sine 120 degree? So I have two options again. So I can either write it as sine 1 into 90 plus 30 degree. That's option 1. Or option 2, I can write it as sine, let me make it a little bigger. Okay, sine 2 into 90 minus of 60 degree. Is that correct? Because 180 minus 60 is also 120, and even here 190 plus 30 is also 120 degree. Got it? So both ways, let's solve it. You know the rule. First I have to check the quadrant rule. So let me make a small quadrant here. 1 into 90 plus 30 means this much. 1 into 90 plus 30 means somewhere in the second quadrant. In the second quadrant, sign is positive, so positive sign. And then because there is a 1, it's a odd multiple, sign will change to cos, and the remaining angle, that's 30 degree. So the value of cos 30 degree, everyone, is root 3 by 2. Correct? Or no, sorry, not root 3 by 2. That's Yeah, root 3 by 2. That's correct. Root 3 by 2. Sorry. That's correct. Absolutely correct. Root 3 by 2. So did you understand, everyone? Okay, what about the other side? This again, 2 into 90 would mean 190, 290 here, somewhere here, and then back again 60 degree means in the second quadrant. So the sign will become positive because it is even, so sign will remain sine, and the remaining acute angle, that's 60 degree. So that would give me root 3 by 2 back again. So both the values are same. So have you been following the steps? First step, express the angle in this form, by the way, and then decide the sign, and then check the odd even and write the acute angle. Okay, I will do one more sum, okay, based on this. Okay, I'll be solving two sums at the same time here, so not one actually. I'll just solve two sums so that you can understand it better. Correct. So first is cot 11 40 degree. How would you do it? I'll only do it by one method now, so either odd or even, whatever I prefer. Okay, so cot 11 40 degree, I'll have to do that. So first step is to express, if there is a negative angle, use it, no negative angle. So second step says express in this multiples of 90. So 1140, if you multiply by 9, if you multiply 1140 by 9, you should get 12 point something, 90 by 90, sorry, if you'll get 12 point something, because 9 into 12 is 180, isn't it? So I can express it like this. You just check it out. Cot 12 into 90, that's 1080. 12 into 90, I'll just show you. 12 into 90 will be a 0 and then 8. Yeah, 1080 plus something extra. So how much should I add to 1080 to make it 1140? 60 degree, isn't it? If I add 60 degree, it will become back again 11 and 40 degree. So check this out. If you add a 0, that will give me a 4 and 1140. So that's how we write it in multiples of 90, straightforward. Got it? So first step is done. I've expressed it. Sorry, second step, I've expressed it in multiples of 90. Then I need to check. Step 3 says determine the sign. I have to check the sign. So in which quadrant does it fall? Let's check. 12 times 90, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 and 12. It reaches here. Plus something means in the first quadrant, isn't it? And you know, in the first quadrant everything is positive, so positive sign. And because this is even now, and this will become cot and then 60 degree. So that gives me cot of 60 degree. What is the value of cot 60 degree, everyone? It should be tan 60 is root 3, so cot 60 is 1 by root 3. Correct? So that's the answer for this cot 11 40 degree. Got it? You can also do by the odd multiple also, by subtracting. That's also fair enough. Got it? So what about this now? Second one, cos of minus 1150 degree. Here I have a negative sign, so first I'll just handle this. Cos of minus theta I know is equals to only cos theta, so I can simply write it as cos 1950 degree. Can I do that? Minus gets absorbed. Okay, and 1950, what is the closest multiple if you use your calculator? If you multiply 1950 by 90, you should get 21 point something. I'll just show you. 21 into 90 will give you a 0 and 9 and 1 0. Sorry, 9 to 18. Yeah, 1890 degree. Okay, so 21 times 90 plus, what should I add to make it 1950? 60 degree, isn't it, everyone? If I add 60 degree, it will become 1950. Check this out. 60 degree. 0, 5, 9 and 1. Absolutely. Okay, so now in which quadrant does it fall? Let's check. Last time, if you remember, multiples of 4 will come here. So 4, 8, even 8 will come here. 12, 16 and 20. 21 reaches here. 21 times 90 plus 60 means it's in the second quadrant. You can check it out. Second quadrant. Okay, so let me show you in detail like this. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20. 20 reaches here, and 21 and something extra, that means in the second quadrant. Did you understand? So 21 times 90 plus 60 reaches in the second quadrant as it moves round and round and round. Okay, then second quadrant, I know cos is negative because only sine is positive, so minus, and because it is odd it will change to sine, cos will change to sine, and then the 60 degree left over. So what is the answer? Minus root 3 by 2. So that's the answer for this particular sum. I hope you have understood. Let me make a quick flow chart of how to solve higher angles. First, what you do, handle negative sign. If there is a negative sign, you just use the negative angle formula. Step 1. Step 2, express like this, n into 90 plus theta, express in this form. Third, you check the sign. What will be the sign of that particular what will be the sign of the particular trigonometric angle. Okay, if it is in the first quadrant all positive, second quadrant sign positive, etc, etc. And fourth, check for odd even rule. If it's odd, then sine changes to cos, cos changes to sine, cosec to sec, cot to tan, etc. If it's even, leave it as it is. And finally 5, write the acute angle only. Okay, so this, if you follow this sequence properly as it is written here, if you follow this sequence, then you will be able to solve trigonometric, you'll be able to find trigonometric value of any angle now. Okay, whether it be very very high, maybe like 1100, 1200, 1300, or just greater than 90, 120, 150, etc.